every human has somewhere in them an innate desire to know and to be known, to have shared experiences, to laugh together, to experience joy together, to confess to each other our areas. And maybe that sounds like super religious language. I don't mean it that way. It's just to say out loud the things about our fears and our doubts and our questions and our second guessings. And I can't believe I just did that again.
Well, you're right back to us taking this water together and admitting that the ground is level, that we all need this. We're all in this human experience together.
And we need it more, I think, I would argue now more than ever, and especially in the technological revolution where we're living, and this movement towards things are more screen-based. And there is something inside of, I believe, every human who still hungers for this. And I think that hunger is going to become more acute over the next few years. And I think the people who step out and begin even practicing now, opening their homes, it's gonna change everything.
Don't you think that's one of the places where Christ followers could really begin to pay attention to the hospitality that's encouraged in Scripture? I mean, don't you think that's one of the places where we really can be brokers of a kind of healing that we need?
Oh, and to be the leaders of it. I live in a community with very successful, accomplished people who are driven and very competitive. And the number one thing that we hear in our community is the cry of loneliness, not feeling connected, not feeling heard, not sensing that they're seen. And so when we start creating spaces where that can happen, you know, with some fried chicken and some mashed taters, or whatever that may look like based on where you live, it is transformative. And people come back hungering for more. I mean, we opened up our house last summer for, we had a barbecue every other week for about 4 months. And the group kept growing and growing, and just the intentionality of it. And
people inviting people, the word got out.
Yeah. And then people are already asking for this upcoming summer. So are you going to do that again? Are you going to have that? And you know, and so you see that the hunger is just in people to get in a room, to build relationship, to chat, and to talk about maybe some of the deeper things of life too.
Yeah, and then in the middle of all of that, the Spirit begins to do something that wasn't on the menu, that you couldn't have predicted. Do you notice that happening? And tell me how a meal like this ends. I think that's what I'm trying to ask you, is there's something that goes on, and it probably happens at different levels, different lengths. How do you know, okay, it's time? How do you know?
A couple things. I never experienced this ever at the, there'd be the chance conversation in the meal where you really connect. It's a memorable meal, but I never experienced it with such frequency until I started praying before the meals and asking God to show up and to work in everybody's life. I never, and now I see it, and then posing that question again, where do you see the divine? Just trying to unlock people's hearts a little bit to become a little bit more vulnerable, and now I see it far more consistently. It's incredible. But there's always a night in every evening where people have shared, and it's kind of like that sigh that you just gave out, is that, we have, and it's that, you don't even have to say a word, but everybody in the room, I think, or many, will have that sense of, we feasted on something here that was more than the food we just ate.
That makes me think of those traditions which pray after a meal, to give God just the glory and to thank Him for what we've just experienced. It feels like at the end of a meal like that, you would also thank Him for what He had just done.
Yeah.
That's really beautiful, and unfortunately countercultural.